Hello, I'm J.A.S.J. Cabrera, and I'm the last reporter for Chapter 11, which is Enterprises Resource Planning Systems. And my report is all about the implications for internal control and auditing. As with any system, the internal control and audit of ERE systems are issued. Key concerns are examined next within the SAS 78 or COSO framework. So first, is the transaction authorization. A key benefit of an ERP system is its tightly integrated architecture of modules. The structure, however, also possesses potential problems for transaction authorization. For example, the bill of materials drives many manufacturing systems. If the procedures for the creation of the bills of materials are not configured correctly, every component that uses that bill of materials could be affected. Controls needed to build into the system to validate transactions before other modules accept and act upon them. Because of the ERP's real-time orientation, they are more dependent on program controls than on human intervention, as was the case with legacy systems. The challenge for auditors in verifying transaction authorization is to gain a detailed knowledge of the ERP system configuration as well as thorough understanding of the business processes and the flow of information between system components. So next is the segregation of duties. Operational decisions in ERP-based organizations are pushed down to a point as close as possible to the source of the event. Manual processes that normally require segregation of duties are therefore often eliminated in the ERP environment. For example, supervisors may order inventories from suppliers, and receiving dock personnel may post inventory receipts to their inventory records in real time. Furthermore, ERP forces together many different business functions such as order entry, billing, and accounts payable under a single integrated system. Organizations using ERP systems must establish new security, audit, and control tools to ensure duties are properly segregated. An important aspect of such control is the assignment of roles, which is discussed in the later section. Next is the supervision. As often cited pitfall of an ERP implementation is that management does not fully understand its impact on business. Too often, after the ERP is up and running, only the implementation team understands how it works because their traditional responsibilities will be changed. Supervisors need to acquire an extensive technical and operational understanding of the new system. Typically, when an organization implements an ERP, many decision-making responsibilities are pushed down to the shop floor level. The employee-empowered philosophy of ERP should not eliminate supervision as an internal control. Instead, it should provide substantial efficiency benefits. Supervisors should have more time to manage the shop floor and through improved monitoring capability, increase their span of control. So next is the accounting records. In spite of ERP technology, some risk to accounting record accuracy may still exist. Because of the close interfaces with customers and suppliers, some organizations run the risk that corrupted or inaccurate data may be passed from these external sources and corrupt the ERP accounting base. Additionally, many organizations need to import data from legacy systems into ERP systems. This data may be laden with problems such as duplicate records, inaccurate values, or incomplete fields. Consequently, strict data cleansing is an important control. Special scrubber programs are used as interfaces between the ERP and the exposing systems to reduce the risk and ensure that the most accurate and current data are being received. So next is the independent verification. Because ERP systems employ OLTP, traditional independent verification such as reconciling batch control numbers serve little purpose. Similarly, process reengineering to improve efficiency also changes the nature of independent verification. For example, the traditional three-way match of the purchase order, receiving report, and invoice and the subsequent writing of a check may be completely automated in an ERP environment. The focus of independent verification thus needs to be redirected from the individual transaction level to one that views overall performance. ERP systems comes with canned controls and can be configured to produce performance reports that should be used as assessment tools. Also, internal auditors play an important role in this environment and need to acquire a thorough technical background and comprehensive understanding of the ERP system. Ongoing independent verifications can be conducted only by a team well-versed in ERP technology. So next is the access controls. So there are two types of access controls. First is the traditional access control models and the role-based access control.
Go.
So to continue, next is the access control. So there are two types of access control. First is the traditional access control models and the roles-based access control. So first is the traditional access control models. So traditionally, the owner of the system resources grants access privileges individually to users based on individuals' trust level and job descriptions. So access control is typically achieved via an access control risk or access token within the user application. The access control list specify the user ID, the resources available to the users, and the level of permission granted, such as read-only, edit, or create. Although this model allows for the assignment of specific access privileges to individuals, it is quite inflexible. The sheer volume and variety of access privilege needs in modern ERP environment present a significant administrative burden. Any access granting model must efficiently keep up with new hires, changes to existing privileges brought about by promotions, and individuals transferring from one department to another, and personnel terminations. To meet these demands, modern ERP systems employ a role-based access control or RBAC. So what is RBAC? So a role is a formal technique for grouping together users according to the system resources they need to perform their assigned tasks. For example, a system administrator could create a sales role for sales department personnel that permits access only to the ERP sales module and certain documents such as customer orders, sales orders, and customer records. When an employee joins the sales department, whether a new hire or transfer from another department, he or she will be assigned to the sales role, and through it can access its pre-specified resources. So, lastly is the contingency planning. So, the implementation of an ERP creates an environment with a single point of failure, which places the organization at risk from equipment failure, sabotage, or natural disaster. To control this risk, an organization needs an effective contingency plan that can be invoked quickly in the event of a disaster. Centralized organizations with highly integrated business units may need a single global ERP system that is accessed via internet or private lines from around the world to consolidate data from subsidiary systems. A server failure under this model could leave the entire organization unable to process transactions. To control against this, two link servers may be connected in redundant backup mode. All production processing is done on one server. If it fails, processing is automatically transferred to the other server. Organizations that want more security and resilience may agree servers in a cluster of 3 or more that dynamically share the workload. Processing can be redistributed if one or more of the servers in the cluster fail. So companies whose organizational units are autonomous and do not share common customers, suppliers, or product lines, often choose to install regional servers. For this approach permits independent processing and spreads the risk associated with server failure. For example, is the BP Amoco implemented SAP's R3 into 17 separate business groups. So, so that's the end of my report, and thank you for listening.